Hey guys, this show coming to you from a car yet again because life is crazy busy right now. I didn't have time to sit down and actually record something this weekend, but this upcoming week I do, so I'm super excited to get back into the usual groove of things. But in the meantime, I did not want to miss a video day, and so I wanted to take a few moments to share with you some reflections from the retreat that I was on. So I'm not sure if everyone knows or not, but I went on a retreat with Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence, which is a fantastic organization that has helped me so much, primarily by finding my voice. And their name is Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence, like break the silence. And so it kind of makes sense that one of the biggest things that they did was help me actually find a voice. And before I went on the retreat, I released a video about a bad coping mechanism that I have and how I'm really how the reason I went on this retreat was to try to break that, and I wanted to report back on how that went. So the coping mechanism that I talked about was basically twofold. So part one is that if I'm ever in a group setting, I always take on like a leadership role, and that's really like a self-protective thing so that I don't have to be vulnerable, I don't have to share. And part two of that is sort of, it's not false vulnerability because it's real, but being vulnerable to hear when what I really need to talk about and work on is here. And so people feel like I'm talking about real stuff and feel like I'm being real and deep when what's really going on is down here. And so I never actually have to dive into stuff that hurts or stuff that makes me really cry or really scared or anything like that. And so those were the two strategies that I knew I would really have to face being in a group setting because they involve other people. And I was really scared. And so the first night of the retreat, I realized I was not in the right mindset for this retreat. I was freaking out. I was shut down. I was like, I can't do this. I am not okay. I came home from the first night because the first night you weren't actually staying at the retreat center. We were supposed to go back to either our hotels or our houses if we live in town, and then we come to actually the retreat center on the next day, and that's when it would like fully begin. And so I came back home and I told Brian I wasn't okay and asked him if he'd be okay with me getting a hotel that night, and so I could just spend some time with myself and thinking and breathing and doing whatever I needed to do. And he was amazing enough to say absolutely go for it, and so that's what I did. Got my head in a better place and went back to the retreat, and it was amazing. Like, it really was amazing, and I was shocked at how easy it was to be with people, because people think I'm a very extroverted person. They think that I'm well, people think I'm an extrovert for starters. I'm really not. I need to be alone for like giant spans of time. I'm an introvert who can fake being an extrovert really well. Like, I can talk to people really easily. I can start up conversations, like all of that. But actually connecting with people is pretty hard for me. Social anxiety sucks, and I definitely have that. And being around people for long periods of time is exhausting, and I get migraines, like all of that. But you know what? This was really awesome. And it surprised me how quickly I was able to form real relationships with other survivors. I think it's because we have so much in common, and you just get each other very, very quickly. You just get it. Because when you have a giant trauma in common with someone, as heartbreaking as that is, you know that for the most part, the other person is not judging you, and for the most part, the other person has understood the emotions you are going through. One of the biggest moments for me was a incredible lady named Doris gave a speech, a workshop on forgiveness. Now, I wanted to skip this forgiveness workshop altogether, like peace out, take a walk, I'm gone, because the topic of forgiveness is super triggering for me for many, many reasons that I'll go into at a different time. But I told myself I was going to be there and I was going to participate, and so I went. And she gave a fantastic speech. It was a great discussion and everything, but things came up, and she said some things that I knew I was just going to spiral in my head over. Like, I just knew I was going to circle down And I was either going to end up super bitter or stuck in my own head or shut down to everyone or hating myself or stuck in my healing process. And so I did something I would never, ever do normally, which was I messaged her immediately after her workshop was over. I just said, hey, do you have time tonight at any point? Can I just talk to you for 5 or 10 minutes? I want to clarify some things that you said. Because normally what I would do is assume someone meant exactly what I heard them say and go with that. And so what she had said was something to the effect of, if you're not forgiving someone, they have control over you. And what that sounds like to me is that I am letting my abusers control me, like I'm complicit in my abuse. That's not what she was saying. That's not what unforgiveness is, but that's what I heard. And so what I was hearing over and over and over in my head was everything's your fault again. Oh, you can't immediately forgive everything that these people have done to you. Well, then they're controlling your life. You're letting them do this to you. And it was just this spiral cycle that I could feel happening. And so she said, yeah, absolutely, let's meet. And so we just met outside before the next workshop after dinner. And I gave her a brief version of my story and explained why everything was so triggering and told her forgiveness is really difficult for me. And the topic of forgiveness, I believe in forgiveness. It's just talking about forgiveness makes me want to freak the hell out. And I told her what impact her words had had on me. Not that she had said anything wrong, just how I took them. And we had a great conversation about it. And I walked away feeling a lot better. And she kind of clarified some things that she was saying and understood why, I took it that way, but here's what she really meant. And it was a great conversation. And instead of spiraling into my head and into darkness and depression for, weeks, I just addressed it, dealt with it, was vulnerable and honest with someone, cried in front of her, which sucked, but she was awesome, so that was okay. And it was really good. And again, that's something I would not normally do. I wouldn't normally pull someone aside and be really that honest with them, especially when I don't know them very well. But like I said, I made a commitment to being honest on this retreat, and so that's what I did. And it went really well. And there were other moments like that on this retreat of being vulnerable. But something my counselor had said before I went was to choose my moments. So it wasn't the whole thing was just a sob fest or always being open and vulnerable. I mean, I just had a great time too. It was a lot of fun. It was great to connect with other survivors and to just be reaffirmed in the fact that I'm really not alone. And you watching this, you're really not alone. It was such a gift to be there and actually physically be present with people and know that I'm not alone. And I know that if you're watching this, you may not have that. And that breaks my heart because I've been there too. I've been isolated and felt like no one understood, no one cared, no one was there for months and months and months at a time. But you're not alone. And even when I felt like I was alone, I wasn't there. There were people I could reach out to. There were resources and organizations and things like that I could reach out to, and I eventually did. And I found people. You aren't alone. I'm not alone. And like I said, that was something that this retreat really helped reaffirm for me. So I will be getting back to, like I said, the normal schedule of things starting this week, which I'm really excited to finally have time to do. Life has been crazy. Not bad, just crazy. And so videos will be back to normal shortly. And I really appreciate everyone's messages. A couple people sent in questions and ideas for videos, and I love that. I love talking with you guys and hearing your stories and being trusted with those, sincerely. Thank you. And I'll be doing those videos here shortly. Also, I want to let you know on Saturday, this Saturday, May 5th at 9 a.m., I am going to be doing a Facebook Live session, I guess you would call it, broadcast, 9 o'clock Mountain Time, about self-acceptance, self-love, strategies for that, what does that even mean, So I would love to have you there, and asking questions and interacting with me. If you can't make it, send me questions beforehand. Let me know what you want to talk about, what questions you have, what comments you have, or what you've learned about it. I would love to hear that. So I look forward to talking to you guys then and seeing you in the next video. If you don't know me, this was a long rambling video, but now you know a little bit more about me. I am Jo Beckwith, and this is Trauma Talk. And I release videos every other day talking about life after sexual assault, domestic violence, and living with mental illness like PTSD and depression and anxiety. And I love all you guys. You're fabulous, and thank you for all your support and care and concern. Thanks, guys.